Ozark has 18 Emmy nominations, including another one for Julia Garner, who won the show its first Emmy last year. I'm Riley Chow of Cold Derby. Now, like any season of Ozark, this third one was obviously a traumatic one for Ruth Langmore. But after getting tortured and everything that she went through with her dad and coming clean to Wyatt at the end of season 2, did it almost feel like you got to kind of take it easy in season 3?
No. I mean, when you were like, she's been through it this season, every season she goes through it. That's just, I feel like, as much I love the showrunner of Ozark, but it's like, great, we're gonna make Julia cry in a corner all season. Great, do it. Our showrunner Chris Mundy, who I adore. No, I feel like every season, each character has like a theme in a way, and I think this year, Ruth's theme is identity. As opposed to like season 1 was her trying to get out. Ruth in season 1 felt like she was stuck in a way, and she wanted to get out of this life that she was living in, and she would do anything for it, including harm her own family in a way. And then season 2, it was kind of the theme was, what choice is the right choice? Do I go with my own kin or do I go with the bird? So it was kind of, that was the theme. And this year's theme is identity, in the sense where the thing that I feel like Ruth really grew up this season, especially because I feel like so much of growing up is accepting who you are in a way. And I'm still like, I can't, I'm not like 40 years old, I'm 26. So I'm still like growing up in my own way. And it's kind of just accepting who you are and kind of owning that. And I think Ruth was trying to be something that she's not. And you really see in the first half of the third season. And then towards the end of the season, she actually doesn't want to be a bird. She actually is okay with being a Langmore and owning up to who she really is in a way. And doesn't mean that there's no right or wrong way, but you have to own up to who you are in a way. You don't want to spit in your own water. And that's exactly what she did. Not to sound gross, but she didn't stay true to who she is.
I feel like things are kind of looking up for Ruth. I feel like in any TV show, the main characters arrive and they disrupt whoever happens to be living wherever the main characters have landed. And at the end of season 3, she just is getting kind of as far away from the birds as she can. I do feel like season 4 will be maybe an easier one for Ruth still.
Mm-mm. No, I definitely don't think that. I don't think that. She's going to she's going to be happy to be back with Wyatt, but I think Ruth doesn't have like a back. I mean, she doesn't have that solid, like as great as Wyatt is, and she loves Wyatt, but she doesn't have like an older figure to tell her what is right and what is wrong, And now that she doesn't have, the one thing that I think she will miss with Marty is that in a weird way, he respected her, and she never felt that before.
Yeah, she kind of treats Marty as a father figure. And then in season 3, she gets involved with Ben. She's maybe 20 years old or still 19 at this point. I'm wondering what you thought about the age difference in that relationship, or if you were just like the rest of us, way too distracted by Wyatt and Darlene.
I mean, when I heard about that, I was like, oh my God, with Darlene and Wyatt, it's so good. No, I mean, to be honest, Ruth, I think, would go with someone older because she doesn't like have a strong older male figure. So again, I think she has like daddy issues for sure. So she's gonna go, like, she's not even gonna think about it, I think. So, but it took a little while for her to warm up to Ben, even, That was the thing that I was actually the most concerned about this season. And Chris and all the writers in the writers room do such an amazing job, but I was really concerned that in terms of my acting, not the writing, that I wasn't going to translate. I thought like people were going to be like, oh my God, she's changing her character. She's so like vulnerable in front of people. But I had to like pick a moment where I was, had this wall in front of Ben pretty much a lot of the time, and then take down the wall at a certain moment. And this is the first time that you see Ruth not having a wall in front. I mean, she even has a wall with Wyatt, and that's the closest person to her. She doesn't show her vulnerability, is better to say.
I feel like the difference I noticed with Ruth in season 3 is that, at least at the start, it seemed like she was kind of even angrier and even snappier than she had been in the past, even though there had been that 6 months for everything to kind of reset.
I'm like, Ruth's always angry. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I think Ruth is maybe a little bit angrier. I think she like blocked out all her feelings. She didn't process the trauma that she attracted and that she did to herself. I think that in the beginning of the season, she was trying so hard to be a bird. She was trying so hard to justify to herself that killing her uncles, being involved somehow linked kind of to her father's death, even like going to like all of those things, and then pushing Wyatt to go the opposite direction, like all those things. I think she was just trying to justify to herself that she was making the right decision. So yeah, there's probably underlying anger there because she's not processing anything. But then towards the end of the season, then it's like opening Pandora's box. It's like a mayhem of emotions in a way, like just crazy.
Do you have a favorite Ruth quote from season 3?
Oh my God. There's so many. I love my lines. So I don't have to ever, it's great. It's like you never want to change any of the Ruth lines. They're so good. I mean, the I don't want to, but like, the wolf scene is a great, the wolf line is a great line. And then, all the stuff that I said when I threw Frank Jr. off the boat was really funny. And also with the car, that he shows up with this car, and I'm kind of, all those scenes with Frank Jr., who's great. It was really just funny and fun to do. And then there was a scene with Wyatt too that I'm trying to think, what was I saying? It's very hard for me I don't remember what I shoot, by the way. So it's very hard for me. I said something, oh my God, this is killing me. That he said something like if this line kills me whenever I watch it, if I watched it, it was so funny. He was like, yeah, I want Darlene to I'm meeting Darlene's mother. Even though that wasn't my line, but every time it just cracked me up.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I mean, how the season starts and she's out of the Blue Cat, out of the strip club, and now she's got this casino, and immediately she's throwing somebody overboard. It's just so worked up.
Ruth is very impulsive. I think she acts and then she thinks, rather than you actually should think and then act, But here's the thing with Ruth that really drives her. She has a lot of shame. She shames and blames. She feels so ashamed about something that she can't control it, and then she'll just act out on everything, So there's a lot of underlying shame, and yeah, she just feels a little bit, she feels dismissed a lot of times. That's her whole thing.
Now, you kind of mentioned that bitch wolf line. What does that mean?
I mean, that someone's a bitch wolf. It means that you're like an animal, that animal instinct in a way. You know what it means. It's okay. Very clear. I mean, at the context, what I was saying, But that scene was so fun to shoot.
Now, I love the way that Ruth, she walks away from that scene. Can you tell me about Ruth's posture and what kind of work you do in that regard?
Well, I feel like so much of acting for me is detail. It can come down to costumes, and all those things really help make the character whole. So the walk, I don't walk like that. Just letting you know. So that was all kind of it all started with actually when I got on set the first time, when I had a wardrobe fitting. Ruth had these boots that I had these fitting, and these they were heavy boots. And I was like, oh my God, these boots are so heavy, but they look great, so let's keep them. But I was like, oh my God, I was like stomping around, and I remember making like a joke out of it, and that kind of, I was like, oh, I actually like that for the character. So I was like, no, we're going to keep the boots. And that kind of just morphed into the Ruth walk. But I also feel like a lot of it depends on what her mood is. If she's feeling angry or if she's on a mission, she walks like that. But, she doesn't walk like that all the time. I think it just depends on like what her mood is in a way. I mean, she walks like that a little bit, like even when she's not, like, she still does that, but it's not, and I also think it shows too. She walks like, because I always thought, like, the thing that I loved about Ruth early on was there's something like a little kid about her, but she also grew up with only men. So she's not going to learn how to like walk like a lady. You know what I mean? She's going to like walk like one of the boys, so she's walking almost like a guy in a way. She just charges in the room. And there was something really playful and childlike about that I thought was really interesting. So that's how the walk morphed in a way.
So you're nominated again for Outstanding Supporting Actress on the Television Academy website. If voters want to check out, a sample of your work, they can watch the episode In Case of Emergency, which is the 7th episode from the 3rd season. Why did you select that one?
Because I think, first of all, I think it's a great episode. Alec directed that, and you interviewed Alec, and he's incredible. And a lot happens in that episode, not only for Ruth, but for everyone. And I feel like especially for Ruth, if we're going to talk about Ruth, is that there is a transition. That is the episode where something happens with Frank Jr. and she doesn't ask for anything with Marty and Wendy, and she asks for one thing after everything she did, and they didn't do it for her, and she goes crazy after that, slowly. But that's the transition episode in a way. That's the transition episode from the identity, from not owning who she is, and then kind of being like, oh, they're not great people. Like, I'm actually okay. Like, so I'm going to own up for who I am in a way. So
in season 3, Ruth, she is, at the trailer park where she lives, but I found it to be very empty there. Like, I remembered a like bustling community in the first couple seasons, but I guess everybody's dead now except for Ruth and 3. Finally, I want to ask, do you know why his name is 3?
I actually have no idea why his name is 3. I actually, that's a really great question, and I'm going to definitely take that and ask Chris Mundy. And I guarantee you, he'll be like, I don't know. I mean, but maybe it was one of the other writers who wrote 3. I always wonder how names come up. It's always an interesting thing to me. I don't know why Ruth is Ruth. Maybe it's ruthless, I guess. I don't know, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I saw some theories that he was, named after his father, who's named after his grandfather, but apparently at some point he actually shows some ID that says 3 on it, so I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, Julia. Well, thanks very much for taking the time to chat. Best of luck to you at the Emmys, and if you want to check out any other interviews with Ozark nominees or other Emmy nominees, we have many on YouTube.
Thank you so much. Thank you.